These impact frames last only a fraction of a second, but they're doing a massive amount of storytelling. In this video, I'll break down 4 Luffy impact frames and explain why these artistic decisions work. From shape, language to timing. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome to another video where I will be focusing on impact frames, specifically focusing on the character Luffy from One Piece. For those of you that don't know, impact frames are usually used in Japanese anime where just before an attack or an explosion or something quite dynamic happening, like a punch, kick, slash, an explosion, a collision, there's a very high contrast flickering of colors of black and white mainly. It creates a burst of energy before an attack or something happens. Hence the word impact frame. It helps with the impact of the action that's going to take place. So in this video, I'm going to be taking a look at Luffy from One Piece. So this is the introduction. There he is, laughing. Explosion, Gear 5. So there we go. It's an introduction with the Nika Fruit. It's just nice effects. He's laughing, we're getting a reveal. Looks super happy. Explosion. There we go. So that was the impact frame. So you can see as soon as like there's an explosion, it's a reveal to the Gear 5. That's the next shot. We don't want to see that just yet. So let's go frame by frame. So okay. There's some nice little smear frames or multiple limbs happening here. Okay, cool. There we go. So first frame, when the 5 comes into camera, it's basically a cut to go into the impact frames. So that's a nice little segue. The screen goes black. Next frame, explosion. We have this impact frame, which is super cool. We have Luffy with like these fangs. I don't know if that's supposed to be Snake Man, Gear 4, Snake Man version. But it's really nice. It's a lot of oozing energy coming out of the body. It's a mixture of green and dark green. You know, it still has his flowing hair in the background and those little twirly sections in his hair. You can see the energy bursting out of his body. I like how they've got this pinkish purple. Enough around the black, so the silhouette is helping us see his body. Like, you know, that's his body, that's his face, that's his arm, that's his other arm, that's his leg, all that kind of stuff. But the very simple pinkish purple that they've added in here, you can see that's his, like, you know, his chest, these are his abs, that area, and they've used the rest to help with his fingers. So it's using a minimal amount as you can, and to, you know, define the character with simple lines. Some nice little energy explosions here. So we'll go to the next frame. We go from a very kind of like colorful screen. Usually you invert and you try to flip around. So if you've got a predominantly black background, the next frame will be a predominantly white, or it'll be back with variety of colors. So they started this one with black, completely black, explosion of colors, and then you're okay to go more predominantly black. So now over here, we're seeing the outlines of the character. So you can see Luffy's hands more, or like the outline of the character. You can see his legs. And to avoid having the background completely black and just a silhouette, they usually add these star-like flickering lines. Usually if you know, snap a picture, those will be the flashbangs of a camera. So that's what it's mimicking. At least that's what I think. So complete background, black background, and then we have this explosion of energy. Then we have this flickering of lights. And I also love the fact that they used red for the eyes, because there's a theme going on with Luffy. How his friends or his nakama see him is very friendly, happy, laughing. But then when they add the red eyes, especially when he's fighting Rob Lucci as well, when he goes real close to hit him, he looks very demonic, like scary, very evil. So there's a play on how he's perceived by his friends and how he's perceived by his nakama. I mean, his enemies. So yeah. So let's keep moving. We'll go from this one to this impact frame. I'm guessing the next one needs to be very bright. There we go. It's still like black and white, but we have this moment where he's holding his face. We see his eyes, and then the camera, even though it's an impact frame, the camera zooms in, snap. And then we've got these two. So it's zooming into his face, zooming into his teeth, And then over there, you still have him moving around. So it's not just a still impact frame. You're still having the camera move in. So it's been drawn in a way where it feels like it's still moving around and he's still performing. He's not just standing there. Usually, sometimes with impact frames, you'll have a character punch, stay there, impact frame happens, and then you still have the same pose. Whereas he's actually still laughing and moving around each frame. There, you can see him, he's lifting his face up. And then it's starting to open and laugh. And you can see they've actually, this is what I can see. Ha ha ha. The animators have like actually written ha 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 all over the place. Because and he's laughing so much now he's starting to evaporate into that white. Just trying to see if there's anything I can pick out from here. This is nice. It's so awesome that they've gotten the body shape with all these scribbles and lines, and all with the ha ha ha's all across the body. And then yeah, once he evaporates, 2 frames. I think it's very long for an impact frame. It loses its whole impactness. The longer it gets, the less impactful it becomes. But I think for an introduction for a character, it's totally fine. And then we have the Gomu Gomu no Fruit or the Nika Nika no Mi. Uh, and yeah, then we go to Luffy. Let's see that one more time. Explosion. And then we have a continuation of those flickering here. Once it snaps out, look at those little lights that were flickering, like those camera lights flashing. That's what it was mimicking in the impact frames. So I really love this introduction to Luffy, Luffy Gear 5. Let's play that one last time. Nika Fruits. He's laughing. And then as he's slowing down, impact frame, just to keep that momentum going. Cool. So let's go to the next one. This one I really like. It's very nostalgic. It's a reminiscent to Gear 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, I think. So this is when Luffy is in Gear 4, going head on to fight with Kaido. And he does this little anticipation. There we go. There. This. So when he goes click, there we go. There's a little bit of an explosion. And this is a smaller impact frame compared to the last one. So it does feel more energetic and a burst of energy. So I think it's about 4 or 5 frames. But look what happens. So he's getting ready. He pulls his hand down. It's like a gun. So think of it like a shotgun. He's got the shotgun. That's how strong his attack's going to be, I guess. There. As soon as he does that, look at this. He's almost like a demon, you know? Red eyes, powerful body. Obviously, it's the silhouette of the Gear 4 Bounder Man. And as soon as he does that, the background is black. He's quite dark with these little reddish silhouettes to show the physicality, the texture of the body. But if we don't have anything outside of the silhouette, if you leave the body black and the background black, it's going to be a little bit difficult to see his shape of the body. So they've added these like bluish electric lights coming out of the body from that explosion, which helps really see the body a bit more better. It just makes it more appealing, more clear. Okay, here we go. So the first frame, impact frame, is from Bounderman, Gear 4. This is what I like. Look at the following impact frame. Gear 2. Next one, Gear 3. Next one, Gear 4. And I think this is Snake Man. No, I think it's Bounderman still. So Gear 2, 3, 4. And, this shot is before Luffy goes into Gear 5. So the awesome thing is, you kind of got a preview of Luffy in Nika mode in Gear 5 before it happened in one of his impact frames. So at this point, Luffy and Kaido are still fighting. And he's not become Sun God Nika yet. But the final fruit here, you can see, look, he's got his little clouds that are around him. He's got his hair like that, and he's in full Nika mode. So you kind of get a preview of Nika, Gear 5 before it happens. Cool. So we've spoken about this one. Really cool. If anything, it looks a bit like Ryu or Ryu from Street Fighter, just like the whole black background, reddish. That's what it reminds me. Gear 2, super cool. It almost looks like it's done in pastels. It's got that standard, not standard, the iconic Gear 2 hand on his knee or his leg, and the other one fist down on the ground. I really like it because all 5 frames of the impact frames, look how colorful it is. This is quite dark electric. This is quite explosive and colorful. This is completely yellow. This one goes back into, what we had over here. So, and this one is completely yellow, greenish, dark. So I like the whole play on all the colors that they have over here. It's nice. It's just showing him go through all the gears. Over here, gear 3, obviously, with a typical big fist. But you saw how different this one is compared to the one we had over here, Luffy is actually moving around and performing while the impact frame is happening. Whereas over here, they've decided to go a bit more nostalgic, and each impact frame is a complete different pose of its own. One could be like this, one could, is doing the gear 3 pose, one is doing the gear 2 pose. This one here is doing the Bounderman one, that one there. And that one there, I'm not sure what pose that is, but it looks like he's in flames. So these impact frames are more for nostalgia and for the fan base, I think, rather than there's a specific light coming from a specific direction based on that punch. So awesome. It looks amazing. I really like it. And it's nice to vary it. And in the 1-0 arc, they've really gone beyond and above and beyond for these kind of impact frames. This is another awesome one that I like. When he notices that he can grab the clouds. Okay, here we go. Well, sorry, the lightning from the clouds. And again, there's just so much happening. This is what like a normal impact frame would look like. A contrast of black and white just flicking between one another, just showing a burst of energy. Over here, he grabs the clouds, and then we go into a black background. Usually what follows is a very bright one, but so they've used yellow to kind of like help silhouette Luffy, and they've got a burst of energy of lightning. Now, what I would expect the next frame would be is this lightning to burst out and the screen to be a bit more brighter. There we go. It's literally done the opposite thing. So it's giving us a clue of what Luffy looks like or is Luffy. Next frame, we have the opposite. And what's cool is there's a few things happening here. The bright background, contrast to this, helps with the flash. We've got a full silhouette of Luffy, his cloud rings, and he's in Gear 2 pose, which is his most iconic pose, I think. And that burst of energy that he was holding onto this gets pushed away. Look, you can feel that bursting away. I don't know what sound effect this is, but usually in manga, when you're reading, it'll have like a gunshot or an explosion or a cut. So that's what it's saying. It's actually like it's written down they've actually put the letters of the sound effects in the impact frame, which I don't think I've seen before. But it's a cool addition. You'd probably only even notice this if you were to go frame by frame as well. So if you do like One Piece and you do like anime, then why not? Okay, so this one, I think they hold it for 2 frames. Yeah. So we go into this, they hold it for 2 frames and then smash back into this. So we go from a white background, black background, and they've chosen to go full color for the level of energy that he's channeling or disrupting, bringing into the scene. Yeah, look at this. This is just awesome. I like how they've also split the screen up. So there's electricity blue, electricity red, and yellow, and there's black space. But they're keeping this part of the screen, half of the screen separate. So when you go to the next frame, that half of the screen has got its own impact frame going on here. Look, it's black, red, smash. That's happening. And then this part has its own. So it's almost like there's 2 impact frames happening together simultaneously. And then around here, it starts to go in. There we go. He turns into green. And now those 2 impact frames kind of converge together, which I didn't notice until I looked into this. Or that's kind of what I'm reading when I'm looking into this. And then we go back into like this whole black and white at the very end. Yeah, super awesome. Let's take a look at that one last time. Look at it. It feels like, when you watch it, it feels like two explosions. Yeah, it feels like two explosions, like two beats. One, two. Yeah, it's all the electricity stuff. I think it's the color. The first set of impact frames, like this section here, is giving off a lot of, that's the first one. And then when we go to here, the second black and white at the end feels like a second one. Well, it's all one impact frame, but it makes it feels like two beats. Okay, let's take a look at the final one. Okay, so Kaido's going to attack Luffy, as always. Why is he always doing that? Cool. So we've got this kind of like energy, electricity, very abstract, going through nothing, like, and as soon as like the light comes towards camera, it's used as a cut. We'll go full white, and then we'll go a mixture of that. So we've got this burst of energy coming this direction. Keep going. The energy fades out. We've got a black background. Bang. That energy fading away gives room for something from here to come. Bang. And then we've got a silhouette of a dragon. So rather than having Kaido come, they've rather drawn a dragon coming towards Luffy. So he's basically fighting a dragon, just not in the full dragon form. It's just a nice addition to have this in an impact frame. Yeah, look, because that's what he's facing. He's actually facing the strength and power of a dragon. So there, over 2 frames, he appears coming towards Luffy. Then we've got these explosion kind of lights that I've shown you on the other impact frames as well. This is super, super close. I can't read it. I think he's going like that's his eyes. He's going really close to the camera, just passing by the camera. Yep, it's kind of like the camera's rotating past, so he's coming towards the camera. He's going past, and then he's going to move away. There we go. And then we see the form of Kaido. This is not an impact frame, but it's such a cool frame. He almost looks like a vampire with those teeth. Right there. An explosion. Cool. Hopefully you guys found that useful. If you want to add impact frames to your shots, I would recommend just like picking out an anime that you like and a specific character maybe. Go frame by frame and look at those couple frames that they use, the animation studio, the animators, to see what kind of impact frames they've created for their characters to feel dynamic, full of energy, and make that punch, kick, cut, or explosion feel impactful and appealing to look at. If you found it useful, please subscribe and like the video. I will have more stuff like this for you. Thank you very much. Every impact frame we've looked at was designed for instant readability and emotional clarity. These are animation decisions, not accidents. If you want more animator focused breakdowns like this, consider subscribing and I'll have more videos. Thanks guys.